Hi again. I am Fathom and I am the founder of Other Fiber Creations. And today we are going to be doing another weekly crochet vlog, whatever this thing is. You can see another one of those up here. If you are new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I am Fathom. I run a small crochet business titled Other Fiber Creations. And this is just my full-time job. This is the channel where I post fun projects I make and markets I do and all that jazz. So, that being said, today it is Monday at 9 a.m. I just finished filming an outro for another video, and I am going to go ahead and get ready to fade us in to our weekly vlog model. I'll talk to you at the end, face to face. Ooh. For day one, we start off by conquering what I lovingly call my bag of doom. It's this random plastic bag that I keep in my room that I fill with things to weave in ends for once I'm back to my normal work week. I try to avoid weaving in ends when I'm in my room working, since the yarn bits go everywhere. The only place I have to work in my room is my bed, and I'd rather not cover it in more yarn bits. That being said, this week's bag of doom featured way too many scrunchies along with some washcloths. Once I tackled the bag, I moved on to crocheting some spa sets, which are made up of a washcloth and 4 face scrubbies. Between the rows, I worked on tackling some laundry and making some labels for the spa sets, eventually putting it all together to have, well, what I show you. Day 2 began with me making the alien to restock my inventory of them since I recently sold one. Huntsville, Alabama, where I currently live, is a city known for being a space and military town due to having a lot of NASA and military arsenal workers. So when I first moved here, I started making these little guys. I grabbed some velvet yarn and a random skein of some scrap yarn from my stash, which I ended up having to switch out for a different one due to the texture of the original scrap yarn. It happens. And I made one of those. After that, I then began a sordid love affair that I was not expecting. Me and crocheting clowns. I was expecting to crochet 1, maybe 2 for the week and move on to other interesting things, but they were so simple and fun to work up, and I loved how cute they were that I just began making a bunch of clown parts to sew up all at once for some future day in the week. I wrapped up my day by editing some TikToks on my phone, which just looks like me scrolling social media, but it's not. I promise I'm doing actual work. And then I worked on some more spa set parts in my room. So day 3 was a continuation of yesterday's funny business. Get it? Because I worked on clowns? I'm not funny. Anyways, I worked on more clown parts while finishing up the second clown of the week. For some reason, I just couldn't get into a sewing mood, and so I just kept making more and more clown parts to put off for a later date. Which is my own fault, to be honest. The rest of the day, besides making clown parts, was spent recording voiceovers for the previous day's edited TikToks, and baking myself some lemon shortbread as a reward for having been so focused on getting on top of my social media drafts. It was a productive day, even if it didn't offer a lot of visually interesting B-roll for you guys to look at. So it was just me, sitting, talking in a mic, all that jazz. On day 4, I realized that I finally had to conquer the clown issue that was building in my whip pile. I had worked up way more limbs than I intended, but hadn't finished off any of the clowns. So I sat down and got to work and did so much sewing before, during, and after my therapy session for the week. This also meant crocheting a ton of little hats and little clown heads and little noses to match up with the pre-worked bodies that I had been making. While I was working, my phone went off and I saw that I had sold another copy of my baby dragon pattern, which, if you want it, is available on my website in the description below for the cheapest option or on Etsy for $4. Just want to throw that out there. So I paused my work, got that sent over to the customer, and then I locked in for the rest of the day and managed to knock out 4 completed clowns when I reached the end of my day. Day 5 can be described pretty succinctly, especially since I didn't actually finish any projects, just worked on a ton of pieces. My roommate was home for the day, which meant that I was to be working in my room instead of working in the communal living space where I normally film most of my content. I worked on some video editing for my last market day video, you can view that here, and I crocheted some more spa set pieces. That was basically my entire day, was sitting, editing on the iPad, and crocheting. You didn't miss much. Day 6 ended up being a bit more interesting than day 5. I started off my day doing some more spa set pieces to be finished off at some later date and putting them in the bag of doom. I did a final watch through my previous video to make sure that the music was added, the information tab was added, all that good stuff. Come afternoon, I finally had free reign of the apartment again, which meant I could get started on the bulk of my work for the day. But not before I discovered that a new sticker design set had arrived. I've been quietly working on producing some more stationery designs in the background of my business, and stickers have been the first concepts that I have tackled. I picked out some of my favorite plushie designs, removed the backgrounds manually from them to isolate the plushies themselves, then sent them over to my manufacturer, who makes most of my branded stuff like my business cards, my care tags, that sort of stuff. I ended up restocking some of my business cards, and then I got some stickers first of my Corby design, then my possum design, and finally some of my Starshroom lads. I think they all turned out so cute, and I plan to have them all up on September 1st upon my website, which meant the next step for the day was getting the product photos taken and the descriptions written for the website. I utilized the ring light in my room and the plain wall behind it before I transferred the photos from my phone to my laptop to edit them and color correct. I got most of my September 1st collection handled on this day, so I felt really good about myself. To be honest, day 7 was my least productive day of the week on the business front, but it was the most important day of the week on the self-care front. I did a little bit of crocheting in the morning, sure, but the majority of my day was spent at a belated, shared birthday party me and some friends had. The theme was silly hats/hats you have no excuse to wear anywhere, so I pulled out this giant felt witch hat, which I got from an art swap early in my career for the occasion. It's so cute, but it's also really impractical, so I don't wear it nearly as often as I want to. I made a point that I didn't film any of the festivities so I could focus on being around people in a non-work setting and just relax for an evening. All in all, this week felt a lot less focused than some of my work weeks can be, and that is actually totally okay with me. Sometimes you have to take the time to work on projects that recharge your mind and your creative spirit instead of grinding out the things you think and know will sell well. It can be hard to remember that I am not some mass manufacturer or some sort of machine when I see how other people are just knocking things out of the park on social media. But then I remember that they choose to portray themselves that way. On top of that, comparison is the thief of joy. So I'm just going to sit and appreciate the work that I did accomplish for what it is, you know? I'm a business owner. It's how it works. I think it's very fitting that we are ending the week back where we started. On the couch, early on a Monday morning, with a bag of doom facing me, of ends ready to weave in. Sometimes that's what happens, is that you spend a whole week doing work and you end up right back where you started. And that's okay. It's exhausting, but it's okay. For now, I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If you're gonna do one of those three things, make it subscribing so you can see other weeks in my life and other projects I make and other markets I go to and all that jazz. If you want to support me other ways, you can go down to my description and find my Ribbler, my website, my Etsy. You can find my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, all that jazz. Today's question of the day is: what day did you think was the most productive and why? Tell me about it in the comments below. I want to know what you think's productive and what you don't think's productive. Just because it's always interesting to see what people consider to be a good use of time. Looking for my words once again. I'm gonna go tackle the bag of doom and get some water because I just woke up and my throat is scratchy. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.